All
Yeah.
right, go ahead. Take it away, Dennis.
So I just want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your afternoon or morning, depending on where you are, to join our webinar with Joseph today. If you've seen Joseph speak or been to any of Craig Wiggins's webinars or training sessions previously, you know these guys are literally the masters of value selling, insurance value selling. So we're really excited to have them joining us today. Especially with everything going on, people are shifting their approaches. Value selling is more important than ever. So I think it's a really timely presentation, and just want to thank everyone for attending. And if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature, the little speech bubble you'll see in your Zoom window. It says Q&A, and there's two little speech bubbles. Don't use the chat for questions. They tend to get lost in the mix. So we'll try to get your questions after the presentation, or if it's really a timely question, we'll try to get to it during the presentation as quickly as we can. So just use that Q&A feature. And with that, I'd just like to pass it over to Joseph and welcome him to our webinar today.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Dennis, to Nicole, for our friends at EverQuote. Very, very thankful to bring this message to all of you today. And just a brief introduction. Some of you may know who I am, some may not. Joseph Puckett. I've been with Allstate Insurance for 11 years. 11 years ago, started my very own agency. About a year and a half in, was out of money, broke, no staff, and I met Craig Wiggins and basically begged him to hire me. I mean, I was 24 years old when I started the agency, 25-ish when I begged Craig to hire me, and he brought me on board and gave me an opportunity. I had a lot of strengths, but running the business at 24/25, I wasn't ready. You know, I was that guy who, listened to everything that corporate told me and everything that other people told me. Hire lots of people, buy lots of leads, write a ton of business, make a lot of money, buy a yacht. Well, it wasn't the case for me. Thank God I met Craig, and I basically forced him to hire me. I just moved to Huntsville. I moved my wife. She was 30-something weeks pregnant with our firstborn. Moved her almost 2 hours away. We rented a house, and I just showed up and started working for Craig. That was 9 years ago last month. 9 years ago last month. And it's been wonderful. And since then, I've learned everything that I can from Craig. We've both built these systems and processes that we teach at Craig Wiggins Coaching. By the way, if you're not a member of Craig Wiggins Coaching on Demand, we would certainly love to help you. We have hundreds and hundreds of training videos, almost 900 training videos, over 200 hours of training. We do live training every single week, on-demand platform, webinars. All of that is $177 a month at craigwigginscoaching.com. If you use promo code SAVE100, $100 off your first month. Save 100. We would love to help y'all. Many of you are also members, and thank you guys so much for joining us for this call. So that's a little bit about my background. Over the past 9 years, Craig and I have done many different things. We've done every type of marketing, every type of lead, everything that you can think of from generating business, and we have fine-tuned and tweaked our processes to work in any environment. And let me take you back to 2011. March of 2011. That was the month that I moved to Huntsville with my 30-something week pregnant wife. And I'm telling you, she was showing. She was so big, and it was hot. It was hot. And I was like, hey, baby, I need you to pack up the house. I'm closing the agency. I'm either going to TPP it or sell it. I was able to sell it to someone. That was cool. And we're moving to Huntsville. I know that we can do better under Craig. I know that it's going to be better for our family. I'm seeing we're about to have a kid in the next 6 to 8 weeks. We're going to do this. So fast forward, she packs up the house. I'm working at the agency, wrapping stuff up. Thank God I found a seller, and everything was smooth and amazing. And we have this newborn, April 20th, 2011, this newborn baby. His name is Hudson Thomas Puckett, my pride and joy. At that moment in time, I knew my wife could move mountains. She was a miracle worker, superhero. I remember every second of that birth, and I mean every second and every detail. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. So excited. And we're at the hospital for a couple of days. We go home. Everything's great. I was taking a few days off of work, right? And I was brand new there and was taking a few days off of work. Well, April 27th comes around, and we're supposed to have a bad weather day. Bad weather day. I don't really think anything of it, right? It rains all the time. Well, bad weather came. Very, very bad weather. These storms that started over in like the Texas area, Mississippi, Louisiana, came into Alabama. And on April 27, 2011, I remember sitting in a hallway with my wife, in this brand new house that we just rented 6 weeks earlier. No friends, no family, nobody up here. I remember sitting in that hallway holding a 7-day-old baby with my wife saying, why did we move up here? It was very scary. Why? By the time that the storms were coming to us and we had lost power and everything, the reports were rolling in. We were scrolling on Facebook. And saw, heaven on earth. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, roll tide, devastated. Places that we shopped at, places that we ate at, leveled to the ground. We saw our friends posting pictures of our university in shambles. And then that storm kept coming north and kept coming north through Birmingham and then North Alabama. So we're like, this is legit. We got to get in the hall. This is the safest place we can be. I'm holding my 7-day-old son. Thank God we were fine. After all was said and done, over 200 people lost their lives in just Alabama alone. Thousands of homes were destroyed. Hundreds and hundreds of businesses, if not thousands, were destroyed. Many, many thousands of properties damaged, cars and everything. Our agency is one of the largest agencies in the country. We have about $36 million in premium. And at that time, we were a little bit smaller, but we had thousands of claims. Some very big. We had several total losses. We had many major damage. Hundreds of car claims, right, from all the comprehensive. Hundreds and hundreds of claims for the food damage because the power was out for 8 days. 8 days, and I had a newborn baby in a new house in a new area. Okay? Why am I telling you all this? This isn't like some rags to riches story. And now I got a Bentley. I don't got a Bentley yet. I'm telling you all this because what happened was things got really tight. And I mean really tight. When it comes to underwriting, we had like pretty liberal underwriting guidelines. They got really tight. Rates increased. We had to get a new product called House and Home to kind of replace what the old product was, which is a great product. For those of you watching on Facebook, we'd love to help you. Call us, Craig Wiggins, Allstate. But it was tough, man. It was tough. Things got really tight. So in 2012, that was a very tough year for us as an agency. Why? Man, it was so much easier to write business 2009, 10, 11, right after the financial crisis. Financial crisis was a tough time before my time. I was in banking at that time, and I looked around. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going to start me an Allstate agency. So I was in the financial crisis during banking, but then started Allstate in 2009. It was easier to write business, right? What did we complain about then? Not a lot. But in 2012, things got really tight. Rates increasing, tighter guidelines. It was harder to write business, etc. We lead. Our company likes to lead in that type of thing because we're a very profitable and very well-run company. So what does that mean? Our prices were a lot higher. So I remember a meeting that I had with Craig and a couple of the managers that we had at the time. And he said, we have got to shift what we do or we're not going to hit our goals. I mean, by that time, he'd been an agent for, he just hit 24 years. So what, 14, 15 years, something like that. And it was a tough year. They had also changed the way our bonus works. They were changing comp plans. Lots of change going on, right? Our loss ratio was over 200%. That means we paid out $2 for every $1, and that's excluding CAT, okay? It was bad, really, really bad. So our prices were higher. We were less competitive. What did we do? What could we do? We had to focus on what we can control. What we can control is realizing that we were with an amazing carrier. And by the way, we are equal opportunity trainers at CWC. We work with all carriers, State Farm, Farmers, Allstate. We're an amazing carrier. We've got an awesome team. We have a wonderful client base to work with. We have fantastic referral partners, some of the best real estate advisors, realtors, mortgage lenders, processors. We have some of the best partners in the business. We're going to get through this storm together, what's after the storm together. But still what it boiled down to is what we had to do is focus on what we could actually control. You know what we can't control? You know what your staff can't control? You know what you can't control? You cannot control your rates. The rates are the rates. The rates are set by the carrier, filed with the state, approved by the state. You can't control the rates. You can't control the guidelines. Maybe they need to tighten things up. Maybe the carrier's like, hey, we're experiencing too many losses in this zip code. We're going to jack it up. Or, too many auto accidents in this area. We're going to jack it up. We've been writing people with 3 tickets. Now we're going to 1. until we get more profitable, right? Those are all things you can't control. So the one thing that we can control is the advice that we give to our customers. And you know what? We were already giving them really, really good advice. But what we had to do was double down on that, triple down on that, quadruple down on that, and make it all about coverage and not about price. So that was in 2012. And that's 8 years ago. I remember distinctly that meeting in May of 2012. Why? Because, and here, I'm gonna let y'all in on a secret. There's just 760 people watching on Zoom, a couple hundred people on Facebook, thousands watching the recordings. Hello from the past. I'll never forget that meeting, because by that point, I've been with Craig for about a year, and I was running a little satellite. He had 3 agencies at the time. I had the smallest satellite, and there were 2 other managers, right? And I remember that meeting where Craig was like, listen, we've got to start selling more on coverage. We're only writing a certain number of umbrellas a month. That needs to go higher. We need to lead with liability. Lead with liability. That's what we do now. That's kind of our phrase here. We lead with the biggest coverage, the liability. About 70% of our customers get an umbrella at new business. 70%. You hear me? So they have to have higher liability limits and a policy many of them have never even heard of, and bundled with their property and auto with higher limits. You think we're more a lot? You bet. Of course we are, because we're giving them more. We're giving them better coverage and better value, and we're protecting their income, their assets, their family, their future. Of course we're more. By the way, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're less, giving them more, and that's fine too. Even then, we don't make a big deal about price. The price is the price. The price is the price. What matters when somebody has an accident? Tell your staff this, or ask your staff this. You know, if you, team member, if you were to have an accident that you were not properly covered for, and let's say it was a $150,000 accident, but you only have $50,000 in coverage, how are you going to pay that $100,000 difference? What would that do to your life? Well, they might say, I don't have that. I don't have $100,000. Well, that's okay. What will happen is the court is going to send me a letter saying, hey, Joseph, hey, owner out there, I need you to do us a solid. Take 25% of their income before you even give it to them. Put it in a separate account. Once a month, write us a check for this wage garnishment forever until it's paid off. Can't bankrupt it. Can't walk away from it. It'll follow them from employer to employer, state to state. What would that be like if that were you? Would that make things tight? Would that be hard? Of course it would. So you've got to be protected yourself. That is very important. Your team members and everybody that's watching this, if you're a team member, if you don't have the coverages you're recommending to your customers, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard to properly protect people if you don't believe in it enough to have it to yourself, for yourself. All right, so you must have maximum liability limits and bundled auto and property and an umbrella. And you better have that life insurance if you qualify. Properly protect yourself and your family. What position would you be in if something happens and you don't have the right coverage? We have umbrella claims every year. I've got a video on our platform, one of the 900 training videos that we have on our platform, of a customer telling her umbrella story. She asked to make the video. She sat down with me, and Susan actually was the one that helped her, but she sat down with Susan and made a little video talking about the concerns she had when she got served legal papers from a sheriff knocking on her door, serving her a lawsuit, and the shock and the fear and the concern that she had, knowing that her husband had had a terrible accident. And there was major injuries involved, including a fatality of an unborn baby. I'm just saying what happened. That had happened to me and my wife. Think I'd sue? Of course. For the medical bills, time out of work, pain and suffering, all that, of course I would. But when she got served those papers and then calls us, and then Susan says, well, honey, we got you. And we've got this umbrella policy. Now, we're not guaranteeing coverages or anything like that. All you underwriting nerds out there, we just said, we've got you. Come in, bring it in. So we scan everything. We turn into Allstate, and she's just so thankful that we're there for her. And she asked to record a testimonial video. So it's on our platform as part of our videos, and you get to see how real it is. So going back to 2012, I'll never forget it. I was a little satellite manager, and we had 2 other managers managing the other agencies. One of the other managers spoke up and said, Craig, I don't think it's going to work. Look at the advertising. It's all 15 minutes and 15% and all this junk. Insurance is a commodity, I remember he said. Well, I'll never forget the next hour of my life. I learned a couple things. Never argue with Craig Wiggins. And that was actually the only thing I really learned. Never argue with Craig. Trust his vision, right? Because that person didn't work for us much longer. And you know what? I was thinking, well, I'll never forget it. I was thinking the same thing. I'm just so thankful I didn't speak up. Okay. I hope he doesn't watch this. Nobody tell Craig this. I don't think he knows this. I was thinking the same thing. I'm just so thankful that at that round table, the four of us, I didn't speak up. So I trusted him. We started trying different things, all these different talk paths, different ways to position coverage over price and this and that. And over the years, we have fine-tuned, and I'm going to send it to the EverQuote, my friends at EverQuote, our sales process scorecard. We have a sales process scorecard that covers everything. We have an entire course that breaks down every section of the sales process scorecard. But here's what it boils down to is leading with liability, leading with the biggest coverage. Here's the deal, man. If somebody has an accident and their deductible is a little high, is that going to change their life? No, right? If somebody has something happen at their home and maybe the deductible is a little bit higher than what they had wanted or what they thought, is that going to change their life? No. But if there's a liability claim and a lawsuit and a judgment that you can't bankrupt, and by the way, laws vary by state. You might say, well, Joseph, they can't garnish wages here in our state. There's other things they can take. Equity in home, other assets, liens placed on your home to where you become like a prisoner in your home. And bottom line, just having the attorneys paid for, right? Just having somebody in your corner going through the process. We live in such a litigious society. It's unreal. And by the way, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. If I experience, here's the deal, man. If I was driving home tonight after having a great webinar with 1,000 friends, and I'm all excited and thankful and just feeling, gosh, life's good. Just driving home and I'm pulling through the green light and someone runs a red light and kills me. And my wife, who doesn't make money, right? She supports me in CWC. She works her tail off, but we don't pay her anything. Don't tell her anything. So my wife, who doesn't make the kind of money I can make, and I got 2 6-year-old twins and a boy that's about to be 9. My income's gone. All that stuff's gone. My future, all that stuff. You better believe I want her to get restitution. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing that we live in a litigious society. Everyone says sue happy. If there's damages, by God, I would want her to have restitution. You know what? If I cause something, I sure as heck don't want to be paying on it for 20 years, 30 years until the day I die. So I'm telling you all this to go back to 2012 and to say, even I have my doubts. Sincerely, even I have my doubts because I'd only been in insurance for a couple of years at that point, 3 years. But we started doing different things. I started having unique top paths. And again, I'm going to have them send out the sales process scorecard. I'll send it out too. And I'll link it like wherever this video is being streamed online on Facebook, I'll link it there, the Google Sheet. You know what it's all about? Talking to our customers and truly treating them like family. What does that mean? If somebody, if one of your team members, here's another way that I position it with your team members. They might say, but gosh, everybody cares about price. It's all about price. Everybody in our area cares about price. Really? Everybody in your area drives a 17-year-old Kia? Really? Every restaurant in your town is a McDonald's only serving a $1 menu? Really? Every hotel in your town is Motel 8 or one of those ones when you drive by, you're like, I know somebody's been murdered in there. I just know it. Every hotel's like that. Every stitch of clothing's bought from Goodwill. Come on now. People buy things that they value. I hold in my hand my precious iPhone. This thing costs $1,200. $1,200. It costs what? $70, $60 a month to service? And within it, I got Netflix, Hulu, YouTube TV, YouTube Premium, Amazon Prime. I'm holding like $3,000 here a year, right? Because you got to get a new one every year. Don't you tell me we can't sell our customers the right coverage that they need to protect their income, their assets, their family, and their future for a few dollars a day. People buy what they want. I want this. I wanted this shirt. It's not very nice. It's $20. Joseph A. Bank. I want my Suburban. My wife wanted her Range Rover. I wanted a 65-inch TV. Do I need a 65-inch TV? I don't know. I only watch one channel on it. What I'm saying is people buy what they want. What we have to do is make our customers want to buy protection for their family, their income, their future. All right. So when you have your team members that have doubts, or if any of y'all have doubts, it's all about price, price, price. No, it's not. All of you, all of us make buying decisions every day. We buy things that we want, whether it's good advice from a banker who might charge us a little bit higher interest rate, but we know that they're going to be there for us when they need it, or an accountant. Trust me, you get what you pay for when it comes to having a good accountant. Craig has one of the most amazing accountants, most amazing bankers, an awesome attorney. He's got an amazing attorney. So all of these things that we do in our businesses or for our families and lives, we make buying decisions every day when things are more, right? We got to get out of our own heads. When it comes to leading with liability or selling value and bundling, which is the main topic of this call, all of this is leading up to that, by the way. Why? If you don't believe it, your staff won't. So you might as well not even try. Like if you're like, this guy's full of it. Trust me, I am. My wife tells me that every day. But I've also got a few good things. And over the past 9 years working with Craig, we've created amazing systems and processes and top paths that work phenomenally. Okay. Have us as one of the top performing agencies in the country, one of the largest agencies in the country. I think you should listen. But if you don't believe it, don't even try getting your staff to buy into it. So you got to believe it, have them believe in it enough for themselves to do it for themselves, and watch it work. Watch them start having deeper conversations, better conversations, talking to people who are like, wow, I didn't know that. Really? That's what's at risk? I didn't know I could get sued, wages garnished, assets seized, liens placed on my home. Something could follow me for years. Are you kidding me? And you can fix it for how much? Yes, please. Trust me, it will happen, okay? But they can't have internal objections. The worst objections that you can get are those inside of yourself or those inside of your team. Those are the worst objections to have because they're really hard to overcome. They're really hard to overcome. So I'm hoping and praying that this is helping connect with you at a new level, and hoping that you'll want to share this with your staff and want to talk with them about truly protecting people. Why? Because going back to 2011, when all that storm happened, we had thousands of claims. We were shut down for months. We still ended up finishing the year pretty good. But 2012, after even more changes in tighter guidelines, we crushed it. 2013, 14, 15, 16, every year since. And why? Because it's in our control. We don't rely on what the company controls. The rate, okay. Guidelines, all right. Systems, cool. It is what it is. We focus on giving our customers the best advice and truly protecting them as if they were our own family. All right. And that's how we continue to win. So to today, April 2020, for those of you watching in the future, this is a really crazy time. I'm 35 years old, and I remember the Great Recession, right? Because I was in banking at that time. That was tough. I don't remember the 89 crash. I was like 4. I remember 2001, September 11th, 2001. I remember being on a bus with my wife. We were going to the ice cream place. They make ice cream somewhere, and we were doing a field trip because she was a junior and I was a sophomore, I think. And I remember them turning the bus around and coming back home because America was under attack. But I don't remember the financial implications of it because, again, I was in high school then. All I cared about was trying to sneak kisses from my sweet honey. Don't tell her dad. This is an interesting time, a hard time. The time that we're living in right now, where like the whole country is shut down, the world's shutting down. It's tough. It's tough right now. And I'm just saying it. It's tough. It is tough to do business right now. Yes, a lot of people are wanting to talk about anything other than COVID-19 for a while, or get a break from their kids. Those poor people that are stuck at home with their kids. Thank the Lord I'm at office. My sweet, sweet, beautiful wife is at home with our 3 kids. And yesterday she announced it had been exactly 1 month that they've been home. She's counting. And I feel bad that she's having to do that, but it is what it is, right? So people are home with their kids and all that stress, and many have lost their jobs. Over the past 4 weeks, over 20 million Americans have filed for unemployment. There's going to continue to be millions more. I'm looking down this street of doctors' offices, dentists, chiropractors. All these parking lots are empty. We're open. we're essential, right? We're one of the most recession-proof businesses that there is. But let's just call it what it is. There's going to be challenges. Your staff are saying things like, yeah, but everybody I talked to has lost their job. No, they haven't. 20 million Americans have. That's out of 160. Yes, that's a lot. And I hate to say this is going to sound terrible. Please take it with good will. There's never been a better time to file for unemployment. And I don't mean that in a disheartening way. What I'm saying is because of the CARE Act and the extra money that the federal government's adding on to what the state typically does for a longer term, easier to apply for and get, there's never been a better time to file for unemployment. So it's not like these 20 million people are standing in food lines, right? Income will be coming in and things, and the economy is going to rebound. I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be a slow climb. I really think that. So why is this so important? This is our current disaster. If you've been competitive and writing lots of business for a while and not necessarily worried about bundling or rates or things like that because it was good, you're probably having a hard time right now. For our members, many of our members, their business is up. Our business is down slightly, not a lot. It's about 20% down. So that's really not that bad considering, you know, we're a little lean on staffing and marketing for other reasons because of other economic things that were happening before COVID. But many of our members' business is booming and good. Why? Because their staff are rolling as always. They're selling value, not price. And bundling. Do not allow your staff to halfway do their job. There's a line that I say, I'm either your insurance agent or I'm not. I would tell that to customers or prospects back in the day when I actually did work instead of fun stuff like this all day. I do consulting all day. I've been standing here all day at Zoom meetings with our members. But I would tell prospects this. If they're like, no, I just want my home or I just want my cars, whatever. But hey, that's no problem. That's no problem. You can keep them where they are. Because I can't be your insurance agent unless you let me be your insurance agent. I must insure everything. Every ring key that's on your keychain. That's another line, which I don't have keys. This is my Anytime Fitness card. It's worthless right now, but I'm still spending $60 a month on it. Every key on your key ring, we're going to protect. From what you drive to where you sleep, your liability, life, your family, your future, your kids, retirement, your toys. I'm either your insurance agent or I'm not. And you know what? It works. People will listen and take your advice if you're assumptive and assertive, and if you take control and you walk them through the process. People don't want to have to like make decisions on things that they don't understand. Let's take control. Be assumptive and assertive. That's another thing that we preach. Be assumptive and assertive. You know, when you're starting calls, for example, hold on, I got to take a sip of this sweet nectar of the gods. Oh, this is brought to you by Diet Mountain Dew. It's so good. When starting calls, if your staff are saying things like, you know, we've got some great new rates. We've got some great new rates. You want some rates? You want some quotes? Can I give you a quote, please? No. We're assumptive and assertive. Hi, this is Joseph Puckett calling from Craig Wiggins Allstate. How are you? Good. The reason I'm calling is about your policy. I was taking a look at some things. There's a few things I know that we need to talk about. It'll take just a few minutes. Are you still at 123 Main Street? Yes or no? Not, would you like a competitive quote or we have great new rates? Let me ask you something. The last time you walked into a store and have this conversation with your staff, last time you walked into a store to buy something, whether it's an outfit or technology or whatever, the nice, you know, lobby person walks up to you, or clerk or a retail person says, hi, can I help you find anything today? What do all of you instinctively say? Most of the time, unless you're a man and it's like the day before Mama's Day, you're probably like, yeah, I need some help. I need some help. My wife, you know, she doesn't even know it's the day before. I'm just now shopping. I need some help. But most of you always say, no, thanks. I'm just looking. Lies. You're lying. You ain't there to look. You're there to buy. People love to buy things. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 78%. I actually like that figure. I love the fact that people love to spend their money. Love it. They literally love buying things so much that they run out every 2 weeks. I'm good with that. What I have to do, what our team has to do, and what you and your team have to do is make them want to spend some of that money they've been spending on stuff like this, or Starbucks Frappuccinos, mocha lattes. I don't know how to order coffee. I don't drink coffee. What they're spending on things that mean nothing, to change it into spending something that will protect their income, their assets, their family, their future. I love the fact that people love to buy stuff. What I want to do is position it to where they agree to put the plan in place that's going to truly protect them, right? So it's all about coverage, 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 not about price. Understand that. So if you've been struggling during this pandemic with your team not writing enough business, or your team having lots of doubts, they're saying, nobody wants to talk right now. Yes, they do. Our contact rates are through the roof. Our talk time is through the roof. Our close rate is somewhat through the roof. Okay. So just understand that. But being real, this is our crisis right now. Millions are being unemployed and have uncertainty and doubts. So understand, you're also going to get plenty of objections. You're going to get plenty of people who say, I'm afraid. I'm afraid to make any decisions right now. I don't know what's going on with myself or my spouse or whatever. Here's a way to overcome that. Try to overcome that. Say, hey, I understand that's exactly why I'm reaching out. This is exactly the time to make sure that your insurance dollar stretches as far as it can, and that you're properly protected, because here's the deal. Things are tight right now. What if something happens and you're not properly protected? Things will get really tight. But don't worry. I'll be happy to take a look at this for you. I'll be happy to take a look. And this will only take a few minutes, but it's a service I want to provide just to make sure that your insurance dollar is stretching as far as it can. Now, are you still at 123 Main Street? Is that still accurate? Assume the quote. But again, you're also going to talk to some people who just aren't interested. Fine. Schedule a call back in 2 or 3 months. Persistence pays. Following up with people is crucial. I mean, it takes 7 to 10 contact attempts just to even talk to somebody, right? 7 to 10 calls, right? Throw in some emails, some handwritten cards, some letters and stuff. That's a lot of contact attempts. Then you talk to them. I don't have time right now. Call me tomorrow. And then you play a little bit of phone tag. By the 15th call, you finally talk to them and quote them, and you try to follow the CWC sales process scorecard, and it doesn't really work. Okay. Then you chase them down for months and for years, and you finally end up getting them. Okay. Or you can just do it much quicker by doing our process, not making it about price, having some sense of urgency, not leaving it up to them, not saying things like, what do you think? How does that sound? What is that? All right. How would you feel if you went to the doctor and you said, doctor, I was on WebMD last night and I self-diagnosed myself with a sinus infection or whatever. Here's my prescription that I need. How would you feel if the doctor was like, okay, I'll just do that. I'll let you be the doctor. I'll let you be the expert. That's what many of our team members do when they ask, what are your limits? Not to position higher limits, but just to match it. What are your deductibles? What is this? What is this? How much do you pay? Oh, crap, or more. I'll call you in 6 months. Rinse and repeat. Failure after failure. What a waste of time. How about we lead with value and coverage, not price, and then bundle everything together, which, by the way, does make the prices more competitive in most cases, unless you're having a broker. Let's not go there. And being the agent that our customers truly need, right? They don't know it, by the way. They don't know it because of all the advertising, all that stuff. It's all about price, saving money. It's not our customers' fault that they don't understand how important you are. But you know what? Who's still open? Whether your team members are at home right now and or you're at home right now during this pandemic, who's still here? We are essential. Our customers need us, okay? And the advice that we give is worth every penny that the price is. The advice is worth the price, all right? So be assumptive and assertive. Take care of people like their family. Follow our very proven process. And again, I'm going to give it out for free to everybody. I know some of you are members, but if you're not, we would love to work with you. And with all that said, what it all boils down to is realizing how important we are, okay? And I know many of you, if you're watching this as an owner, you understand that. A lot of your staff don't. A lot of your staff just think that they're quote machines. They're trying to save some people some money. They're trying to keep you off their backs so you don't ask them why they're not making enough calls or why their production's down. They don't understand just how important they are in the lives of their customers, in the lives of your customers, right? So we need to elevate who we think we are, what we do, all this stuff. And I'm going to send you the sales process scorecard because there's not enough time to teach it all. We have a course that's 3 hours long that teaches it. I hope that this has been good. We have lots and lots and lots of questions and chats and hundreds of people watching live on Zoom. I don't know how many people watching on Facebook live. Thank you guys for joining us. I do want to get to the questions here, but before I do, I just wanted to highlight something real quick. And yes, it's a plug. So if you see here, save 100, all lowercase, save 100 at craigwigginscoaching.com, save 100, lowercase, all right? If you try to do a capital S, it doesn't work. You can join any of our coaching programs for $100 off the first month. $77 for the first month of on demand, worth every penny, no contracts, no commitments. You don't like it, cancel it, all right? So if you're not with CWC, we'd love to help you. Save 100 is the offer. Now I'm going to go to the Q&A. It looks like my friends Nicole and Dennis have been getting rid of a lot of questions that have come in, which is fine. And I'm going to also be looking at the chats too. We've got about 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes to go through your questions. Hayden says, what is bundling? Hayden, so every carrier has different phrases and stuff, so I'm sorry if I've said anything that might confuse anybody. I've tried to use very specific terms. Bundling is getting it all in one call. That's another phrase I like to use. Get it all in one call. There is no tomorrow in insurance. There needs to be a sense of urgency to get the protection in place. It can't be like if you went to the doctor and your arm was cut off, right? You like that guy in Tiger King, and your arm's been bitten off by a tiger, and the doctor's like, what do you think? How does that sound? What do you want to do? Can I send you a brochure? No, you want that doctor to see what's wrong with you and fix you. Same thing. We need to have that sense of urgency to fix things for people, and we must be their one insurance agent, the one insurance agent to rule them all. Lord of the Rings. So we must ensure what they drive, where they sleep, liability, life, retirement, college savings for the kids, toys. They got motorcycles, boats, ATVs, right? We want to be their agent for everything. That's bundling. When you do that, you'll have better customers, right? Higher premiums for better limits. They'll stay for much longer. They'll be much stickier. They'll refer their friends and family to you. Stop taking orders, by God. Tell your staff, if you wanted an order taker, you could hire a computer to do it. You could. Soon, within the coming years, there's going to be such good AI that people can be talking on the phone to an artificial intelligence computer doing quotes and transactions. Watch it. Hell, it's already here. In many cases for things like endorsements and payments. Watch it, man. So if your staff want to be there long-term, if you want to be here long-term, we got to be better than a computer. We got to be better than artificial intelligence. All right. So bundle, 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 get it all. We got to be their insurance agent. They're one insurance agent, not one of many. Mary Hill says, at what point do you give in? Do you decline to insure the cars if they don't want to insure the home? Mary, I would never turn down a monoline customer, but because we are assumptive and assertive and we package it all in one nicely packaged, it's not optional. It's not like, do you want this? Do you want that? No, this is what you need. Here's what we're doing. Here's the package. Here's how it works. And again, I'm going to send you all the scorecard so you kind of see how it works. But if somebody's like, listen, pal, I've been with this carrier with my, cars or home for decades. I'm not going to switch, but you've won my business on this. We'll take it. We will help them. About 10% of our new business is monoline. 90% of our new business is bundled, and 60 to 70% of our new business are not just bundled auto and property. They also get an umbrella. Who else does that? We write more umbrellas in a week than most agencies will in a year or two. Why? Why do we make such a big deal about the umbrella? Because we lead with the biggest policy, which must have everything else underneath it. All right. But it's not like I'll be like, no, thanks. We're going to pass. But it's kind of rare because we follow our very assumptive and assertive approach. Steve said, Hayden, it's also known as rounding out accounts. So maybe that's what y'all call it at your carrier. Tanner asked, hold on, I need one more sip of this sweet nectar. We're implementing using your sales process scorecard. Any suggestions on how I can use a scorecard to help the LSPs? That was asked at 12:57. So I bet I answered that, Tanner, on having the conversations with your staff about what if it were you? What if it were your family? What if it was your friend on Facebook and you're scrolling on Facebook and you say, oh my God, my friend was in a terrible accident. Oh my God, that's awful. Let me reach out to them and say, okay, friend, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay, but I caused a bad accident. It's awful. It was terrible. There was ambulances pulled up. It feels like a war scene. And then 6 months later, you see them talking about going to court because they're being sued and you can do nothing for them. Nothing. Same thing with like a friend. And this is going to hit home. This is going to hit home for some of y'all, and I hope it doesn't trigger anyone. But seeing a friend whose spouse died or child died, and you think, God, if only I could have asked, if only I would have asked to help them with their life insurance or to help them with their plan. Now you say what? Prayers, right? Everyone, prayers. What does that do? I'm sorry. What does that do? Thoughts and prayers, nothing. You wanted to be there for your friend or family member, you got to do what you got to do before disaster strikes. Car accidents, home properties, death, right? Guys, gals, what we do matters. What we do matters. So how do you make this hit home with your LSPs? You got to talk with them just as real as I just did, okay? Is this going to be the only live training webinar this week? No, Andrew. I still have my live weekly training on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central, etc. So Andrew, I still have the live weekly training. I'll send the link. That's just for members. I'll send that out in the morning. Do y'all write just for Allstate? Yes, Allison. We do broker a little, but not a lot. So we're captive Allstate. But again, Craig Wiggins Coaching works with State Farm, Farmers. We love helping every agency that wants to help themselves, that wants to invest themselves. Melissa said, what's your biggest challenge now that there are so many unemployed and want to get things cheaper or even cancel? Melissa, again, I kind of mentioned this earlier, and I hope that nobody took offense to it. It's never been a better time to file for unemployment. In fact, for many people, it'll be more lucrative than what they were actually making. And please don't take that as insensitive. It just is what it is. People have to have insurance. They need to make sure that it's right. And having them stretch their insurance dollar, make sure that their insurance dollar is going for just the right amount of coverage and stuff. That's alluding to price, but not really, right? Because when we start talking with them, following the CWC sales process scorecard, following our very specific top path on coverages, we're going to make it all about coverages. But yes, of course, you're going to have some people who are, not wanting to move or whatever. Fine. Call them in 2 months. X-date them for 6 months or more if you have to. But understand that things are tougher now. That's just real talk. It is what it is. These are the most interesting times we've ever been in. And thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's impacted from COVID-19. Hundreds of thousands of people, thousands of deaths, millions of businesses are shut down right now, millions of people unemployed. This is a catastrophe, and we will get through this, though. There is an end to this. There is an end. There is an after this, okay? Is it in a month? Is it in 2 months? Is it going to be much longer and heavier hit areas? I don't know, but there is going to be an end to this, and we'll hopefully come out stronger. We'll hopefully come out stronger because we're going to invest time and development in ourselves and our staff. Randy Smith says, I'm a 21-year agent and have been a member of CWC for a couple years. Thank you, Randy. These processes work if you work them. Year to date, I'm up 73% on auto, 68% on home, and 283% on umbrella. Yes, 283%. Randy, you're awesome, dude. Keep rolling, man. I appreciate you. I'm very happy to work with your team. Shiler says, how do you stop prospects from continuing to shop after you give them all of the advice and explanation of the limits and such? They really appreciate that. However, we've lost some prospects who take our advice and go shop it somewhere else. So, Shiler, that is when we're talking about the coverages, what we have to do is have a big sense of urgency. We must fix this today. There is no tomorrow in insurance. I can't remember if I said that earlier or not, but that's something else that I teach and believe in. We must believe, Shiler, that if I'm talking to you about your policies today, I must believe in my heart that you're going to need them tomorrow. I can't let you off that phone until I protect you, right? That level of urgency. And we make it really clear why they're undercovered. And it's not their fault, it's their agent's fault. So we speak facts. And we say, Shiler, I'm shocked. I'm truly shocked that your agent has you in this position. How long have you been with them? Do they know that you work at X and have this home and have all this at risk? Do they not know that? I mean, how your agent has left you uncovered for so long is beyond me. I'm just shocked that they've done this to you, but don't worry, Shiler. We're going to take care of this. We're going to make sure that you have the right coverage today. You are no longer going to be at risk of losing everything in the blink of an eye. So Shiler, don't you worry. I'm going to fix what your agent has done. When you have that kind of sense of urgency, they're not going to call their current agent back except to cancel. And why are they going to shop somewhere else? And if they have already shopped, here's another trick. If they have already shopped after you have the liability conversation, ask them point blank, has anybody else talked with you like this? Has anybody? Have you talked to the Flo or the Lizard or anybody else? Have you talked to them? Has anybody talked with you about this? In 30 minutes, I've talked with you more about insurance than your current agent has in a decade or more, and you've already gotten quotes, and they're all just trying to save you money. You know, it really disappoints me. It really disappoints me how lazy some people are and how much they just don't care about their customers. But you know what, Shyler? I'm so thankful that you're now going to be with us. We're going to make sure that you get protected today. No one else has talked to you about this, right? Blah, blah, blah. So you can also use that if they've already gotten quotes that they need to compare. What's there to compare? Nothing. Nothing if you do it the way that we teach. There is no comparison, and the price is the price, and you ask them how they want to pay, which account they want to use. Close the sale. Get them covered. Joseph Young says, how do you overcome the objection of people saying they can get the same coverage for less somewhere else? Well, Joseph, it's going to be pretty rare that you're talking to somebody that already has maximum liability limits and an umbrella. I bet it's not even 5%. Seriously, I bet it's not even 5% that have maximum liability limits and umbrella. If they already have maximum liability limits and an umbrella, they likely were recommended those coverage amounts in the umbrella, not from their insurance agent. Most insurance agents, they're just trying to save people money, matching coverage and stuff. Most people that have an umbrella or higher coverages were recommended that by their attorney or their accountant or their banker, right? Or they're just savvy and new to ask for the coverage. So if somebody already has it, they've likely had it for a while and it wasn't recommended by their current agent. What does that mean? They likely need more. Have they paid more down on their home and or has it increased in value? Have they inherited money, grown their business, increased their income, blah, blah, blah. $1 million umbrella 7 years ago might have been enough. Today, they probably need 2 to 3. We can go up to 5 with our initial carrier and can do up to 10 with our brokered. So I have a $2 million umbrella. Craig has a 5. All of our staff basically have a 1. So if somebody already has the proper coverages, don't be so quick to say that. How long have they been in place and who recommended them? You know, they likely need more. So we always lead with more, right? And again, we live in a very litigious society. It's insane. But again, going back to what I said earlier, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If something happens to me, you better bet I want my wife to get restitution. Okay? I would want that for my family that I will leave behind. And yes, I have millions of dollars in life insurance. I'm worth so much dead. If I ever show up dead, call the FBI and be like, she's got short brown hair. I'm just kidding. But seriously, I'm worth a lot dead. But still, wasn't my fault. We would deserve restitution, right? Same thing if something happened to my wife. You better bet I would need help. Yes, I have a couple million of life insurance on her too. But again, the pain and suffering, final expenses, all the other stuff, you know, all that restitution and having to hire nannies and house cleaners and all these things, you know, having to actually pay someone to help me with CWC. Again, please don't tell her how much she's worth. She does a lot of stuff for CWC behind the scenes and we pay her $0. You better bet I want restitution. Okay. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing that we live in a litigious society. What I'm saying is you better protect your customers or you're not doing your job. If you're just a quote machine, a computer could do that now. Artificial intelligence will do it in a few years. If we want to stand out above the crowd, not just now during a pandemic, not just during catastrophes where things are tough for a few months, but forever, we got to start giving better advice. All right, we got a few more minutes here. Okay, Richard, I love this question. Richard Reese says, what are some characteristics you guys try to find in a successful agent? Man, I love that question. When we're recruiting, I can tell within the first minute or two whether or not I like somebody. I'm not looking at personality assessments, which have zero correlation to success. Zero. We used them for years and there's no correlation. I want good energy, good attitude. I like to see some sales experience. I prefer little to no insurance experience and drive. I don't want somebody who's like, yeah, I just want to get out of the house, you know, or yeah, I'm a trust fund. No, I want somebody who needs to work and make money. I want somebody who wants to provide for their family, who wants uncapped income potential, not just, yeah, what's your hourly rate? Like someone asked me that question. I'm like, oh, nails on a chalkboard. It was nice to meet you. Goodbye. I want an entrepreneurial spirit, someone who has drive, wants to make a lot of money, has great energy about them. They don't have to be like me, bouncing off the walls because of the Diet Mountain Dew, but they need to have some energy about them and a good personality and then we'll talk. And we have a very specific interview process. We have an interview scorecard, which breaks down every question of the interview process, just like the sales process. Hold on one second. I am currently on a live webinar with about 1,000 people watching me. So if I don't reply to your text quickly, that means I'm probably doing something like this. I got tired of him still texting me. What was I saying? I forget. So the salespeople, that's what I'm looking for. I can tell. Do we connect or not? Do they have good energy? Do they need to make money? Do they want to make money? You know, do they have that entrepreneurial spirit? Am I sponsored by Mountain Dew? No, Stephen, but I should be. Someone call PepsiCo. And which social media platform do you prefer to use? Wait, how effective is your social media marketing? Good, bad ROI? Matthew, so we don't do a lot of like boosted posts or ads or things like that. We certainly don't do the Facebook leads. You know, I want to protect my people's time. My people's time is very valuable. So I don't want them chasing a lot of junk. I'm not saying to not do Facebook advertising or not do boosted posts. At a minimum, it's good marketing awareness. Honestly, dude, we don't do any. We use Facebook and social media more personally to connect with our partners, our awesome realtor connections, mortgage lender connections, other centers of influence in town, like our awesome bankers and accountants, friends, and all those people that can refer businesses. We use our personal pages way more than the business pages to connect with our partners. And honestly, they're our friends. Our best partners are our friends. You know, I've been here for 9 years now, and there's people that are still referring to us to this day that I've known for 9 years. And it ain't because we're doing anything special or anything. We just take good care of their customers like we take care of them. That's another tip. You want a good partner? Insure them. Show them what you can do. Show them the advice that you're going to give. Show them how you're going to take care of everything. Show them the service that you're going to provide, and they'll be way more likely to pass along their clients to you, right? So I'm not saying to not do Facebook marketing and stuff. But honestly, we don't, and we write a lot of business. I have 5 salespeople right now, and we're on track to write 450 items this month with 5 sales agents. We have several Century Club agents that's 100 items in a month or more, and then some of our newer agents writing 50, 60, 70. So, you know, we just don't need a lot of extra junky leads, which Facebook leads are junk. I'm just being honest with you. And we just want to protect our people's time as much as possible. What is the lead-in statement starting with liability or suggested phrasing? Sarah, that's going to be in the sales process scorecard that I'll ask our friends to send out, and I'll also send out, and I'll link to wherever I posted this on Facebook. It all starts with asking them about their coverages. Sarah, what are your current liability limits? Do you understand what those coverages mean? How much do you carry on your umbrella? That's assuming that they have one. They'll be like, what? What's that? When was the last time you talked with your agent about all this? I'm shocked. I'm concerned. Boom, boom, boom. It'll be in the coverage discovery part of the sales process scorecard. So that's how we start that conversation, Stephanie. Oh my goodness gracious. Have you changed your marketing strategy during this time, Melissa? No. And in fact, what I would probably recommend is ramping it up. Ramping it up. Now, EverQuote is the host of this call. By the way, nothing's exchanged. No money, no nothing. We're just friends. We are friends of EverQuote. They're friends of CWC, and they were so gracious to ask us to help host this call. And we're about done, so I'm going to pass it to Dennis here in just a minute. But now's a wonderful time to looking at lead sources, real-time lead sources like data lead sources, live transfers, all that kind of stuff. Direct mail has continued to really be fantastic for us. You know, other types of passive marketing, never really do that anyways. It's always a waste, but it's a really good time to buy it. I was talking to a guy that I have insured. He owns a moving company. He's spending like $1,500 in ads for this station. He's going to get $7,000 worth. That's how much they're struggling right now to sell ads. So he's like, heck, I'm going to do it, right? So now is actually not a bad time to look at passive, but I'm not a big fan of passive really ever. So great time to talk to EverQuote or other lead sources about seeing what you can do to get more real-time data and or age data to telemarket and work with, and then other things like direct mail, etc. So, you know, I think now is a really good time to ramp it up to make sure that things don't slow down too much. And heck, again, a lot of our people are reporting more business. A lot of our members here at CWC. So Oh my gosh, what are your lead sources? I'm going to end with this. I'm going to pass it to Dennis. So, from leads from our friends like EverQuote, direct mail, we do a lot of, not a lot, but a fair amount. Honestly, y'all, we're constantly working win backs, requotes, cross sells. Our service team generates, I calculated so far month to date, 36% of our items. 36% of our items this month have come from our awesome service team. Man, they don't just process transactions. They truly care about our customers and want to protect them. So a lot of our business comes from people calling to make payments or do changes, whatever. And then our service team pivots to a mini review and then assuming the quote of the other line and then passing them off to their partner, whoever they're partnered with that month on the sales side. So win-backs, requotes, cross-sells, service generated items, personal network, customer referrals, referrals from partners, sure, marketing, direct mail, etc., leads, okay? But y'all, you got to do all of these things. You can't just put all of your eggs in one basket. If you drop that basket, or if that basket was heavily, reliant on the economy, and now that basket's dropped, all your eggs are broke. You got to diversify and put your eggs in multiple baskets. But definitely, just a quick plug for EverQuote, definitely reach out to them and see what they can do to help you guys. So with that said, there were lots of questions that I probably didn't get to, and I see tons of chats, and I have no clue what's going on Facebook right now. I don't know if there's any comments or not on where I posted these in the groups. I'm going to try to hit up all those. If I missed anything, my email address is Joseph, Joseph, at CraigWigginsCoaching.com. And as you see the promo code, save 100 lowercase. If we can help you, we would love to. With that, thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, EverQuote. And thank you to all the hundreds and hundreds of people who attended this call. If I helped one of you, it was worth every minute. Thank you guys so much. I'll pass it back to Dennis.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. A great presentation. Just want to let everyone know we'll be sending out the scorecard, how you can get in touch with Joseph. We'll also be sending out that Save 100 promo code to everyone through email and a recording of today's presentation, and also how you can get in touch with EverQuote if you're interested in getting set up for calls, leads. We have auto, life, home, both calls and leads available. So we'll be sending that out within about 24 hours, so keep an eye on your inbox. And I just want to thank Joseph again. Really, always a great presentation from you guys. So appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, and want to thank everyone for joining today's webinar, and we'll see you soon.